Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now I'm off mute. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello. Listen, I'm back. I haven't been live in a while. I had to like shake some dust off. But listen, we are back. Be Fruitful Producers Community. We are back, and we're back with a heavy hitter tonight. I'm so excited about tonight. So we have Coach Tyrell. I call him Coach T, Coach Tyrell Muhammad on tonight. Listen, this is 2022. We can't bring what we did last year into this year. So you know what I did? I leveled up. I brought a boss on with me tonight. And before we get started here, okay, so we already have a couple people on.
Hey, by the way, Coach Kellie, that intro video was absolutely fire. I was like, let's go, Coach Kellie.
Listen, just trying something a little new this year. Listen, just trying something a little new. But listen, you know what? Before we start to greet the people, let's just give them some more time to come in. The ones who are on, go ahead and share, like it, share, comment. I'm still adding you on, Coach T. So as soon as it goes through, I'll just, tag you in there.
Yep.
But let me just say this. I'm gonna read this bio and I'm gonna take my time because I want you guys to know like the seriousness of what's going on right now. So Coach T, or Tyrell Muhammad, was born in San Francisco. So he's on the West Coast and married to his lovely wife. Shout out to Courtney for over 20 years. Education, he went to San Jose State University, San Fran State University, and University of Paris in France. All right, I see you. While living in Paris, listen, he decided to get into real estate. He has over 25 years of experience in real estate. Listen to this, guys. Co-founded different real estate companies along the way. Original partner of startup company airlines called People Airways. I told y'all I wasn't playing. Tonight. Listen, he serves on the board of directors to guide different companies, nonprofits over in the San Francisco area. Today, he's one of the managing partners of TMG Consulting. And I want him to talk a little bit about that tonight, and development headquarters in Walnut Creek. But most importantly, listen to his heart. He likes to spend time with his wife, Courtney, which we mentioned earlier. Family, friends, he's a family guy. Playing, is it bocce ball? You're going to have to correct me on that. Bocce. Bocce ball.
I didn't know what it was several years ago either.
And golfing, forgive me. Listen, all while learning something new to make this world a better place. One of his taglines is, I believe, world building continues. So Coach T, go ahead and jump in there. Introduce yourself to the people, greet the people while I tag you in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, I'm a city guy from the West Coast, born and raised. And, as a city person who has grown up in San Francisco, and have lived in Paris. I mean, these are both two international cities, and when you are a part of international cities, you're able to navigate through the different cultures, through the different, the way cities operate in some form of fashion. So yeah, it's just an absolute blessing. So happy to be here with you, Coach Kellie.
Listen, it's my pleasure. So for some of you guys don't know, Coach T, he's a part of the extreme execution community that I joined not too long ago. It's probably been a little bit over a year. Well over a year now. Wow, time's flying. And let me just say this. Even as you're looking at my brother's demeanor, right? When you look at him, he oozes business, he oozes confidence. And for anyone who knows my story, know that was not me some time ago, some years ago. And you guys have seen me bring other coaches on here, but Coach T has probably been one of the newer voices that I've allowed to kind of speak into my life. I'll talk about it a little bit later how I had to kind of humble myself a little bit because listen, when a pilot enters a room, or when I say pilot, I mean someone who is very much so a go-getter. The ones who can get the results, right? Natural born leaders. Sometimes initially we may be intimidated by them, but it's important to know that everyone has, listen, 2 arms and 2 legs, just like anybody else on this God green earth, right? And that we shouldn't necessarily judge a book by its cover. And, initially meeting Coach T, and we joke about this. I'm like, I didn't know how to approach the brother. But, once we sat down and really had a good conversation, I realized like, man, there's a lot I could learn, from him. And so a lot I could learn if I just sat down and was willing to listen. So,
Okay now,
Look, I won't stroke his ego too much, but when I say the brother knows what he's talking about, he absolutely knows what he's talking about. And not only does he talk the talk, he has fruit, right? And we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about getting off autopilot. So what is that, Coach Kellie? What is autopilot? So autopilot is, you know what, before I even go there, let me just shout out the audience. So we have Khalil White. Thank you so much for coming on, Khalil White. We have Coach Corey from the community's on.
Oh, Big C is on. Come on.
Yes, good to see you, Coach Corey. And we have Coach Tommy on tonight. Listen, the fam is showing love. Thank you guys for jumping on to hear us talk and chat. But we're talking about, Coach Tommy, we're talking about getting off of autopilot, and he knows all about that. We did part 1 together, and now we're talking about part 2. Autopilot is exactly that, where you're on autopilot and you're not necessarily thinking about what you're doing. You're just going through the motions. And how many times have we done that, right? We get up, the alarm clock goes off, we get up, we clock in, go to work, or whatever your system is, whatever your way of doing things is, and we don't even necessarily naturally think about it because the things that we're doing are so mundane and so calculated to where we don't even have to think about it anymore. So we're talking about getting off autopilot and being able to really assess what is going on. So I want Coach T to talk about this because the first step to change, I believe, is being able to identify what's not working, to identify what is going on. Why am I not reaching the heights that I aspire to reach? So Coach T, I know this is your zone. I know this is your lane. Talk about being able to, where we have to be able to be honest with ourselves and identify what's not working.
That's good. I mean, let's think about it, Coach Kellie. I think many of us, we strive to be the very best version of ourselves. And many times we get stuck. We feel like we're having more breakdowns than breakthroughs. And sometimes we have to recalibrate ourselves and the environment and our thought process on where we're going. Now the question is where we're going.
That's good.
And I think many of us have to think about what is the very best version of ourselves, right? You have a community, you have a podcast, Be Fruitful. And when we say be fruitful, we're talking about how do we create the best fruit.
Right. That's good.
And in order for us to create the best fruit, we have to create a system by which we are watering. We're properly planting seeds in the right soil.
You talking heavy already.
What's the soil?
Right.
The soil is our thought process. The soil is our belief system.
That's good.
The soil are the values by which we say we believe. Now, watch out now, because sometimes we say we believe something, yet our actions doesn't follow through with it. Where's the gap? How do we close the gap?
Right. Right.
And I think sometimes we have to get some clarity first, even if it's general, on where we're going. So sometimes I talk about, look, if you're looking to create a destination on where you're going, sometimes we just need to say, okay, look, here's where I want to go. So I'm in San Francisco. I just want to get to New York.
Right.
Now the question is, how do I go about getting to New York? Am I going to drive? Am I going to take the airplane? This is where we start creating a mission or a mantra statement.
Okay.
This will help us start creating a destination on exactly where we're going. And once we start getting better clarity, then we can start utilizing the GPS in a mantra to get to the location to where I'm going, because New York is pretty big.
Right.
I was just in New Jersey several weeks ago, and I had a destination. I had a hotel address.
That's good. That's
Right?
good.
So I think answering your question is, when we start thinking about being the best version of ourselves, utilizing the strategy of what's not working,
That's good.
then we can start reverse engineering where we want to go. Look, you've been a part of Extreme Execution for a little over a year, but you certainly have risen to the top very, very fast by filling in the gaps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to just echo what you're saying, because if, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't realize it, he's walking heavy already. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this and catch it. Good evening, Mario. Thank you for jumping on. That's my honey bunny. Thank you, Mario. And then my brother, Mikhail. Thank you for jumping on tonight.
Mario. Come on.
So, so when we talk about, because Coach T, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that about the soil, because that's so good. Being able to identify what's not working. So when we say what's not working, we're saying, like he said, where's the fruit of it? Like we got to really assess what's going on, because I'm looking at this new year and we're already February. We're already in February. And we know a lot of people had visions and goals in January. And ladies and gentlemen, if that vision and goal from January, if you don't have any movement whatsoever in February, then I hate to break it to you, maybe the system you have in place is not working. There has to be some type of fruit. There has to be some type of result. There has to be some type of momentum towards that goal, even if it's doing that one thing every week and every day to gain that momentum to get closer to that goal. Me and Coach T was talking about this offline yesterday, how sometimes people may not have like a destination, right? Like when I joined Extreme Execution, I didn't necessarily see this, right? I didn't see this program that I've built, Ascension 2022, and the Be Fruitful Producer Program. But I didn't see this, but I knew what I didn't want to become. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Coach T already talking heavy. He talked about how, okay, he's in California, but what it takes to get to, okay, if the vision is New York, okay, am I getting there by plane? Am I getting there by car? He didn't have like, let's just say at the moment, he didn't have the address, but he knew he wanted to get to New York. I came in and challenged him. I said, listen, a lot of us may not even know what it is, but we know what we don't want, and I did this. I said this example, I'm just going to throw it out there, Coach T. Before I got married, And, you know, I was single, but I aspired to be married. And then once, you know, I did take those vows and I said, I do, I knew I wanted a healthy marriage, right? Now, did I know exactly what that was going to look like? No, but I knew I didn't want to be single again. So there's certain decisions I had to make, right? So, you know, whether that was not watching certain shows anymore,
Yep.
being careful who I hung around. I can't hang around a lot of single people if I want to stay married in a healthy relationship. Everything isn't about business. We're talking about really, really setting practical goals and getting to the next level, getting off of autopilot and really being intentional. Being intentional about our steps, being intentional. My brother said it about your thoughts, right? Because what you believe, we talked about it with, shout out to Coach Mooks and Coach Nick. We talked about it last night when, you know, what you believe and what you say and what you do, like that has to line up. If that's not lining up, there's no way you're going to get manifestation. There's no way you're going to get results in your life. So Coach T, I want to bring it back to what you said about creating systems and that personal statement. I love when you talk about the acronym of life operating principles. So talk about your life operating principles. The people want to know, well, what is it? Why have you become so successful? How can we get an airline? Come on. How can we get 25 plus years in real estate? What did it take? What do you do? What did it take to get there?
That's funny. You mentioned a key element because we're bringing it home, right? You said systems.
Yeah.
We all have systems by which we believe is going to bring about the greatest return on time. These systems, how we think, how we move, how we get up, these are what we call LOPs, life operating principles.
That's good.
Now, some people is like, what is an LOP? Well, when you work at an institution or a corporation, they give you a handbook that says, this is how we need you to function and to operate.
Yes, that's it.
It is called a standard operating procedure. The reason why they give us standard operating procedure is to mitigate risks. It is to create the best outcome for your role and responsibility. Well, we have the same thing. The way that we grew up, our experience, the way that we have congregated among social peers, the way that we went through high school and collegiate, these form life operating principles that we believe is going to yield us the greatest results. Now, this comes back to awareness.
Right.
This comes back to say, what do I want in life? Look, I just know I want to be the best version of myself. Great. That's a great start. What does that actually looks like? Now, what is now the destination that you believe is your purpose?
Good.
How many of us struggle with identifying what is my purpose? And it is 100% okay to continue to evolve that, because in our LOP, our operating principle, we start to identify best practices.
That's good.
Best practices is commonly used in the corporate world, but you can also use it in your LOP.
I like it.
How do you get up in the morning? How do you go to bed? These are things that help create epic activities throughout our day.
That's good.
So when we talk about life operating principles, we're talking about a series of systems that is helping us to create the best outcome, which helps us to identify blind spots and triggers.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Right? We talk about mastering the DISC, the flight assessment, but the flight assessment only becomes relevant until you know and have a destination of where you're going in life. Because otherwise, you have these great resources, these jewels, that you don't know how to unlock the treasure of who you are.
Wow.
Oh, watch out.
Man.
Right? So what are we doing? We are identifying who we are and who we are looking to be and become. We are looking for where the gaps are, who we are not, who we don't want to be. We want to stop being on autopilot and we want to create intentionality.
I love it.
The recipe for intentionality is clarity. What do you want? How do you know? You know, Coach Kellie, I realize that many of us, we lack clarity more than the external circumstances around us. So we tend to blame the external circumstances rather than taking 1000% of our destination, even if it's tough. We need to create a way that we can have self-awareness and then start to create a way that's going to help us inch our way into success. There's a great quote that says, we don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems.
Wow.
I'll say it again.
Yes. I'm putting it in the chat.
We don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. What does that mean? Of course, it's great to have goals, but what happens many times for many of us is that we have these great goals, but we never reach them, not even the benchmarks.
Jeez.
And the reason why we don't reach the goals is because we lack the system that support the elevation of the goal. So we need to start creating better systems that's going to help us reach our destination. And the way that you do that is by creating some mission or mantra statement for yourself so that you can start saying, okay, I am. So I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, disciplined, and enthusiastic. How many times have we understand and mimic our company's mission statement? Like a lot of times we know the company's mission.
Absolutely.
We know what their mantra is.
Mm-hmm.
You know the companies, but you don't have one for yourself?
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to establish something for ourselves that gives us meaning and purpose to help us at least get out of the gate.
Ooh, wait. Hold on. Let me. You hurting them, Coach T. You hurting them. Wait a minute. It's fire in the chat right now. Let's just digest what Coach T just said. My God, and you said a lot, and I'm gonna throw it right back over in your court because this is what we're missing, ladies and gentlemen. Here, if you don't hear anything else tonight, hear what I'm about to say. This is the missing key. As a lot of us out here, we've been asking around, we've been mad, frustrated with ourselves, maybe even praying about it. I know I have a lot of followers who, are the same belief as mine. We've been praying for breakthrough. This is it. Listen to what Coach T is saying. We've been missing the system. I mean, he said a lot. He said, identifying how do you start your day? Like, I really want you guys to think about this. How do you start your day? How do you end your day? The triggers. Oh my God. I had to learn that. I had to learn my triggers because a lot of times we like to blame this person, blame this person. Hi, Mom. We have Jenna on tonight. Hello, Jenna. Hello, Miss Gloria. Nice to see you. Hello, Cynthia. Yeah, the number's getting up, Coach T. You cooking. He cooking, y'all. Come in, share it. So he talked about knowing your triggers. Listen, everybody else know your triggers. Now it's time for you to know your trigger. People know, they know how to press your buttons. They know how to get action out of you. Now it's time for you to know, okay, how can I get the most out of my day instead of other people taking advantage of how they can get the most out of me, right? How can I get the most out of my day to get my goals accomplished? Coach T, you talked about go ahead.
Pause
go ahead.
right there.
Yeah.
Pause right there, because triggers is somewhat of a making a wrong turn down the wrong street.
Teach.
And when triggers come up in our lives, it has a way of impacting our emotional barometer.
Okay.
What is a emotional barometer? Well, we already talked about our LOP. It is a part of who we are.
Right.
Many times, it's just like our house. It is the thermostat that gets impacted by an event. Okay. It gets impacted by what somebody says. It gets impacted by what may be going on in your life or our life that throws us off our game. Many of us can say when we are in our zone, nobody can stop us.
True.
We have to now set
that's good
our emotional barometer.
That's good.
Now is it at 72? I mean, I don't know. What's your thermostat in your house? 72, 75, 68, 80,
right.
Whatever. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. You know what your zone is.
I love it.
What we're doing is you're setting your zone, your emotional barometer, so that when people come within your excuse me. I'm sorry. When people go into your atmosphere and they impact your zone,
come on.
We have systems that we autopilot to. What did you say? You said you want to get it off autopilot. So when we are impacted in some form or fashion, we now have to create a better operational procedure that is going to help us fight off or get away from the negative situation that is taking us down.
I love it.
These are triggers. These triggers, we have to identify what they are, because triggers sometimes don't come up until they come up.
Right. That part.
So we have to create life operating procedures that says, hey, when this comes up, what do you do? How do you identify it? And then how do you give it new meaning so that you now have awareness and you give it a new definition so that you can respond better?
I love it.
Triggers.
Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's it on triggers.
No, I love it. So Coach T, before we and we're doing excellent on time. You are. Listen, when the brother I gave the brother the theme and he's like, let's go. And he's so direct and he's so on it. So I still want to hang around this concept of creating a system. And I love what you said about setting that thermostat. With my clients, what we talk about is setting the tone. We talk about commanding your morning. You guys know out there, producer community, you know that I'm a big believer, and the scripture that I love to pull on is, have you commanded your morning? Meaning, for the longest, I was a person who would kind of go with the flow. Not to realize that wasn't working for me. That's not working for me. So, excuse me.
Take your time.
That wasn't working for me. I had to realize, okay, Kellie, you're really a leader. So you set the tone for your business. You set the tone in your house, right? A lot of you guys know I'm a prayer leader. I set the tone at my church when it comes to certain things. So my whole, what wasn't working was my whole thought process of thinking, oh, I'm just going to go with the flow. Or, oh, I'm just going to, however I see other people moving, that's how I'm going to move. That autopilot type of way of thinking, like, oh, I'm just going to, kind of just go through the motions and go through it. And I had to realize, Coach T, that wasn't working. And it wasn't working because I wasn't fulfilled. I was exhausted at the end of the day, and I had nothing to show for it. And it was like, so why am I so frustrated at the end of the day? And why am I and I'm putting out energy and I'm putting out all this stuff. But like Coach T said, I wasn't in tune with my own life operating principles. I was supporting everyone else. I was supporting, the business that I was working for at that time. I was supporting my family. I was supporting my community. I was supporting my church. But it was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. Let me self-assess. What is Kellie about? What does Kellie believe? What does Kellie stand for? I had to get a clear vision. Wait a minute. I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm not. I'm not this person. I'm not this person. And you know what that does? Instead of me taking on the persona of the people that were around me, or like maybe other dominant personalities taking on those type of people, I had to really check myself. Like, wait a minute, Kellie, what do you want? I really had to ask myself some hard questions, Coach T. And once I was able to ask myself those hard questions and say, okay, my life isn't where I wanted to be. And you said it earlier, I was finally willing to take responsibility and stop blaming other people, stop blaming, oh, this person keeps taking my time, oh, this job is this, is that, and they won't ask me to do this, or they won't give me the opportunity. I stopped waiting for an opportunity and I took one. I stopped waiting for an opportunity and I created one. I stopped waiting on other people and I took responsibility for my life. And let me tell you something, it changed the game for me. Instead of waiting on somebody to help me write a book, I wrote my own book and I self-published it. I stopped waiting on other people to give me an opportunity to speak. And I came online and I hit live and I said, I'm going to talk to whoever willing to listen. I took responsibility for my life. And guess what? I know I'm not going to drop the ball on it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to outwork me working for me. And that's what changed the game. And I started linking up with people like Coach T. I started linking up with people who, listen, I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about, was maybe even intimidated by in the beginning. But then I had to tell myself, no, don't be intimidated, because that's where you're going. That's where you want to go. Start getting around. And Coach T, listen, I'm going to throw it back over to you. Tell them, sir, what your system looks like. This man has 5 coaches. 5. That means he has accountability. That means he has somebody to bring correction in his life. That means he has somebody, if he's not on his game, he got somebody to say, hey, you drifting. Hey, you on autopilot. Hey, come on, bring it back, bring it back. He has somebody to hold him accountable. And we joke about this. I'm like, it wasn't until maybe the 10th time he said it that I realized I need a community. I need a coach. I need somebody who's gonna maybe even get in my face when I don't like it. I need somebody to push me and really pull out greatness. So Coach T, tell the people, like, what does your morning look like? How do you command your morning? What does your system look like? Come on, don't hold nothing back, Coach T. We're ascending. We're going higher this year. Tell the people exactly what it looks like. What does greatness look like, sir?
That's good. That's good. Where you going? You going? Ooh, I'm feeling it today.
I'm pulling it. I'm pulling it out of you, sir. What does it look like?
Look, Coach Kellie, I realized several years ago that good intentions don't get you good results.
Whew.
Okay. And we have to realize and make sure that we're not contradicting ourselves in what we say we believe and what we are going after. Okay. So, what does that look like? If I am saying, look, I just want to be the best version of myself, I'm not competing with anybody.
Right, right.
I just want to be the very best version of myself. And what I thought was the best version of myself was staying up late at night, staying up to 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm saying 9, and I'm gonna get up at 5, 6 a.m. to go work out. They didn't align with each other.
Right.
So in order to master your routine, your morning routine,
that's good.
You have to have an evening routine. Your morning routine is only as good as your evening routine.
That's good.
Because you're intentional on properly planning and executing the following day. Okay. This is your life operating principle. If you decide to stay up all night, I'm cool with that. That's you.
Right.
And if you get going at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., that's okay. It doesn't matter what time you get up. It matters what you do when you get up.
That's good.
And how you protect your sanity so that you and I can get and go into who we are to get ready for the battle of the day.
Right.
So what do? I normally get up around 4, maybe sometimes 3:30, so that I can get ready. I have a checklist.
There we go.
Yeah. Some people call me a little crazy, but I have a operational manual.
Let's go.
Because I realized that, like I used to work for corporations, they gave me a set of step-by-step procedures that created efficiency. All I wanted to do again was be the best version of myself. So I have a morning routine that allows me to get ready for the day. I drink hot water, cold water, maybe some coffee to get ready for the day, so I shock the blood so that I can wake up out of the sleep, right? Because we all have, we have sometimes some people have a hard time getting up. And you have to find what works for you.
Right.
My wife sometimes will get up with music.
Yes.
So it's about creating a routine that's going to get you ready to master the day. I was working out for years, but I was working out as a auto pilot. I was just kind of going, to show up and, give them a little cardio in. I said, you know what? I gotta stop playing. I gotta get a coach. I gotta get a trainer.
Wow.
A trainer helps do what for us? A coach helps us do what? It helps push us past our limits. And so every morning we have the 5 a.m. breakfast club and we work out.
I love it.
It is to give us intentionality. It is to give us focus, and it is to help us create strategy and operational procedures that help push us past our limits, that we don't know what we don't know.
Love it.
Everything in our life has to have a principle.
Absolutely.
We already have principles. That's the crazy thing about it, Coach Kellie, is that many times we live by principles that we don't even know, that we have adopted along the years. And so our coaches and our trainers have been musical artists.
Wow.
Our coaches have been people around us who are not mimicking the success that we want.
Sheesh.
So we as humans learn patterns
Whew.
that are sometimes survival, but not exceptional. And we have to become aware of what that is so that we can have more breakthroughs than breakdowns. Didn't we say we are part of a fruitful community?
Yes. Producers.
Producers.
Yes.
Yeah. And in order to produce, there is a system that has to be intentional in order to get the results that we want. We have to create accountability for ourselves. We think, we have beliefs, we have values and principles. We have to start executing on the small things and start creating momentum in order to create. How do we stop being all over the place? We said it in the beginning. Create a mantra or a mission statement for yourself or your life,
Absolutely.
so that you and I can start having a destination every single day and throughout the day that's going to help us recalibrate when your emotional barometer tanks. Kellie, what's the first car that you ever purchased?
The first car?
Yes.
It was a Chevy. I'm trying to think. It was a while ago.
Okay, that's okay.
Like a small Chevy SUV, probably like a Captiva, like a small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you got that Chevy, when you started driving it, did it seem like everywhere you were driving, you were starting to see Chevys on the street?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing with our mission, our mantra.
That's good.
When we repeat our mission and our mantras to ourselves over time throughout the day, we start to see the Chevys everywhere we go. You start to see your mantra. You start to see
Yes,
the positive,
that's good.
the positive data points of your life, our life. And Muhammad Ali used to say his mantra over 100 times per day: I am the greatest. And what he said was, he said it so much that not only helped him win, but when in his advocacy, he showed up. So he said it so much, now we call him the greatest.
Woo, that's powerful. Man.
My man said his mantra so much that now we say it. A mantra don't gotta be deep. It just has to be authentic to who you are and who you are looking to be and become.
Wow.
This is the roadmap, the blueprint to becoming fruitful.
Yes.
And getting off of our autopilot, because we want to be intentional. We want to be the very best version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
I don't want to compete. But we get caught up with competing too much, comparing too much, not knowing the full story behind many people's success.
Yes. Yes. Because if you knew what that person went through to get what they have, you wouldn't want, you really wouldn't want any piece of what they got. So this is, oh my gosh, Coach T, man, when you, let's just, you're saying so much, brother. And I'm, listen, this is so much. Just know, listen, producer community, everybody that's watching, just know that it's going to be probably 10 or 12 quotes that come out of this, and maybe like 5 or 10 mini videos that come out of this. But when you said, Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest so many times, to where he believed it, and everything that he did had to align to it. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Coach T said. Muhammad Ali said, I was the greatest so many times, to where no one could tell him differently. He had the belief system. He had got it in his head. And at some point in time, I know it got into his heart. Listen to me, his heart. And once it's in your heart, I believe it's a done deal, because once it's in your heart, then your actions, come on, the things that you do start to align up to it. And we talked about it earlier. When what you say, when what you believe, and what you do, when those things align, oh, it's like a laser. Like, you become so focused, you become that, you eat that, you sleep that, and you don't rest until you get to that particular destination. And like Coach T says, it may evolve over time, right? It may evolve over time. But here's the thing, you're so focus. Good evening, Charlton, and good evening, Adolfo. Nice to have you guys on tonight. Listen, when you get that laser focus and you are locked in, it's like a pit bull. When a pit bull locks in, its jaws is locked in, it's not budging, it's not going anywhere. It's gonna stay there until they get the result that they desire. So I'm looking at the time, and
Coach
I'm gonna
Kellie,
bring it home. Go ahead.
We already talk to ourselves in our subconscious mind.
Absolutely.
So why not get in the driver's seat so that you can have more intentionality and purpose to your life, right? That's why marketing ads are so powerful, and they don't mind running ads or running songs so much that you didn't like that song in the beginning, but now you heard it so much, you loving the song.
Right. Talk about it.
Huh? You hated the song in the beginning, but you didn't heard it so much, now you like, oh, that's my jam. Having a mantra and a mission statement, and you saying it to yourself, you will start to believe, I am the greatest. I am happy. I am the bomb. Whatever you want to put into your mantra, it's now creating, you're getting it now in the driver's seat. Now, look, I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to be in the passenger seat and the back seat for the rest of your life, I'm okay with that. Whatever you like, I love it. I'm just saying, if you want to, if that's the best version of yourself, do you? But if you want to have intentionality, there is a blueprint that you can create in your life operating principle, because you already have a system. Now, the point of the matter is, now you're more intentional in your morning routine and your evening routines. Now you can start having epic days. You start to be in your zone. You don't mind having a decline or people giving you negative vibes, because now it fuels you. You have an emotional barometer that is allowing you to have more breakthroughs than breakdowns.
Man, Coach T. Coach T, listen, we're gonna have to bring you back. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have to get in his schedule for either April or March to see if he's available. We gotta have you back because I feel like we just scratched the surface.
I know. Is it already the top of the hour? Oh my gosh.
Almost. But let me. You said something about being in the driver's seat. Yes. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Coach T said, if you like it, he love it. If you want to be in the passenger seat, go ahead. But let me tell you something about me. Let me tell you something about producers community. You have to be in the driver's seat. And let me tell you why you got to be in the driver's seat. Because I don't know about y'all, but I don't trust nobody that much. The only person I trust is God, right? God alone. I love Jesus Christ. He leads me and guides me in everything. But let me tell you something. I can't trust another individual to be in my driver's seat, because if that would have worked for me, it would have worked a long time ago. You know what I mean? They would have got me to where I needed to be a long time ago. I realized that I need to be in the driver's seat in my life, because nobody's going to take my family to the next level like me. Nobody's going to take my business to the next level like me, because it may not touch their heart the way it touches my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Coach T has been saying. If you missed some of it, I see some people coming on now. Go back and watch and listen to what he's saying. And listen, my brother, he talks really plain, and he doesn't talk as fast as me. He kind of slows it down so then you can get it and understand. He's intentional about that, so you can understand what he's saying. But for me, Coach T, I couldn't take that chance. I couldn't take that risk to let somebody else sit in the driver's seat of my life. First of all, you don't know where I'm going. I barely know where I'm going, right? That's why my system is to pray every day, right? I barely know where I'm going. So I could not put my family, my son, my husband in the passenger seat to somebody else that's driving. Absolutely not. I couldn't do it. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. There's too many things that I care about that's going on in my community, and no longer could I just sit on the bench. No, I had to get in the game. That means I have to get up and speak at community meetings. That means I got to go to homeless shelter, halfway houses, and talk and let the people know my testimony and let them know they can make it out just like I did. So listen, we got 6 minutes left. I always leave with a call to action. Coach T, we talked about this. If you don't do it, I'll definitely circle back. I'm going to put his Calendly, his information in the chat. I told you this is producers community. We went in by any means necessary. We will not settle, come on, for the status quo. We will not settle for our wins from last year. No, we're going to assess and go higher. It's called Ascension 2022 for a reason. We're going higher. We're doubling up. And I'm telling you, when I linked up with this gentleman right here, I started thinking differently. You know, he thinks on another level. He's a leader. And a lot of us, we didn't learn things on how to lead and how to, you know, set the tone and set the pace for our lives. So I'm definitely going to put his information in the chat so you can reach out to him. But Coach T, what would you say to the person that's still straddling the fence? What would you say to the person who's just like, I hear what you're saying, it sounds great, but brother, I don't even know where to start, right? Like, what would you say to that person?
That's good. You know, out of the gate, if you or someone or me are feeling on an island, get around like-minded people, right? Because environment has a way of increasing your goals on steroids. As you are developing a mission and a mantra for yourself, and you start learning routines, you start putting together fixed schedules, flex schedules, you start now operating from a LOP, which is just another name for SOPs.
Right.
This will help develop the roadmap And all you need to do is just take one step at a time.
That's it.
Right? Watch Be Fruitful community more often than not. Watch other podcasts that are in a line with your mission. Again, we said set the intention, set the mantra. When you start setting your mantra, you start dialing into podcasts that are relevant to who you are becoming.
That's good.
You start watching things that are more relevant.
That's good.
You start reading things that are more relevant. You start hanging around people that are more relevant and adding value to the.
Come on, Coach.
Yeah. Start where you are so that you can begin to evolve yourself into the person that you are destined to become. And it all starts with just taking one simple thing. I said I live in San Francisco. I'm trying to get to New York. New York is my mission and my mantra. I'll figure out how I'm going to get there along the way based on my budget and based on my social environment, based on my product and services that I offer. Right? You'll figure it out. We will figure it out along the way because human patterns can be peeled back and you can start having more breakthroughs by the routines and the systems that you talked about earlier, Coach Kellie, systems of operation. We all have operational procedures that make us great, good, or average. Which one are you? And if you feel like you're average, change your systems. What did we say? We don't rise to our goals.
We fall to our systems.
We fall to our systems.
Man. Listen, that's it. That's the drop mic moment.
Wow.
Listen, I'm going to, or Coach T, you can do it if you beat me to it. I'm going to put his information in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, you have a very unique opportunity right now. Don't leave one stone unturned. Reach out to Coach T. I think he'll have opportunities for you guys just to do like a 10-minute or 15-minute chat with them. He talked about getting around like-minded people. Well, it just so happens that I'm recruiting in my Ascension 2022 community, where we meet once a month and you'll get access to a lot of good information that Coach T talked about, assessing those triggers. We talked about the DISC assessment. You'll get access to that. I'm going to put that information in so you can join the community. It's a small subscription fee. I think even this month we're running a special where it's like $29.99 plus the registration fee. Listen, what do you have to lose? Leave no stone unturned. If you talk to Coach T and nothing comes out of it, which I don't believe that will happen, but if you talk to him and nothing comes out of it, at least you try. You know what I mean? At least you put yourself out there. If you talk to me and join my community and after the first month you realize this ain't for me, well, okay, well, you know what's not going to work and you know how to move forward. You have to do something. You have to do something. Leave no stone unturned. And listen, I'll leave it there. Coach T, it looks like you wanted to end it. I'll give you the last word, sir.
No, I was just going to say, look, jump in this community as fast as you can so that you can get around like-minded individuals like Coach Kellie and others that are adding value to the lives of others.
Absolutely. Well, listen, that's it. Coach T, thank you so much, sir. I value your time, so that's why I'm wrapping it up. I don't want to go too much over an hour, and I wanted to talk to you briefly as soon as I take us off here. But listen, go back and listen to it. If you didn't catch it from the beginning, please go back. Catch it from the beginning. Catch it from the beginning. Thank you again, Coach T. Producers community, we will be back next week. And until next time, I'll see you again, guys.
See you guys. Peace. Yeah.